be a busy one, but it's good.
All right.
Okay, and then I'll hit record and we'll get started. Sorry, it just takes a second to get.
Yep.
Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, I'll hit record and then we'll go. All right, welcome to Life's Not Linear. Today I get to interview Matt Forlenza. Could you please introduce yourself and give us a bit of your background and history?
Sure, absolutely. Hi, I'm Matt Forlenza. I'm currently a director of engineering at Verizon. I've been with Verizon 31 years, so I've seen the company change from New Jersey Bell to Bell Atlantic to Verizon. Through the 30 plus years, I started out of high school with some community college, and then I went into the workforce. From there, Verizon has been a great corporation, both helping me get through my bachelor's in business and then my master's in administrative science and global leadership. Earlier in my career, I was technical, very hands-on, obtained several Cisco certifications up to network professional. And then around 2000, I made the transition into leadership. Started off as a first level supervisor, leading associates, later becoming a manager of supervisors in operations centers. I've held various manager positions in operations. And then in 2013, I went on to become a director of a large center of our network operations center for FiOS. Did that until 2018. The last 2 years, I've been in engineering and leading a maintenance engineering team of level 2 technical folks that do lab testing for our video servers, our home routers, and our set-top boxes.
Wow, you've been all over the place, and that's so cool that you've been with Verizon through all of those changes.
Right. Yep.
What kind of kept you with the company for so long?
Yeah, it's a question I get often. Usually people will say, wow, 31 years doing the same job. Boy, that must get tired, but that's not the case. On average, every 3 to 5 years, I was in a different role, right? A different part of the organization, touching on, operations, network planning, engineering, leading different teams over time. So it's every 5 years you are doing something different, leading a whole new team, working with a whole new set of partners and peers, working in a whole new service. So with that, you're always growing your network, right? You have your contacts from formal roles, but now your network is getting bigger and bigger and bigger as you're working for new leaders, working with new peers, and learning new technologies along the way. Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I think it's really cool to see that you've been able to gain so many different experiences in one company. Because I know a lot of students jump around, and I know I went to a panel one time when I was in school, and they were saying if you making the decision between staying in a company or taking a new one, it's not based on the company, it's based on if you're learning anything new. So it's great to
Right.
see and hear that you've been able to have so many different experiences alongside the same company.
Yeah. Listen, you could be an operations person, be an engineer, be a design person, be a developer, marketing, sales. All of those paths are there to take. You really, it's what you like, it's what you match up for, but the opportunities are really open in a large corporation like Verizon to do many, many different things.
Mm-hmm. And so when you first joined the company, what was the company and how was that? Because you said you had a bit of community college under your belt and then you started working right away?
Yes. So when I started in the company, I was a union technician. in New Jersey Bell. So, I entered as a union technician at the time. There wasn't a college degree, a high school degree was fine. But, I wanted to get working full time, but I did not want to end my college career
Mhm.
or college advancement. And Verizon pays $8,000 a year towards your education. So I took full advantage of that, and like I mentioned, saw it through to bachelor's and then master's. And my first taste of going into leadership and supervising a team, I just fell in love with it. Um, I loved working with people. I loved being there for people. And now, as I've, evolved into leadership and now at a director level with larger organizations to run, one of my favorite things is talking to people about their careers and where they want to go next, and giving them the tools and getting them networked with the people that will help them get there. I mean, to me, that's the favorite part of being a leader is helping folks. And I call it taking the back roads to getting my college degrees, right? Not boom boom high school to bachelor's to master's and be done in my 20s. By the time I got my master's, I was, you know 20 years into my career by the time I wrapped up my master's. So it's a different road, and there was a lot of lessons learned and mistakes made. And to be open and transparent, to share what I would have done better with the folks I'm mentoring now, is a very valuable thing.
Yeah, incredibly valuable and lines up perfectly with life's not linear. Like you took a, like you said, a
That's
back
right.
road approach. And I think that these are the stories though that people need to hear, because even I myself, like I was like, okay, 18, graduate high school, need to go to college, but that doesn't leave a lot of room for like figuring out what you want to do and like a lot of growth. So
Right.
I think it's really cool how you kind of took that journey. Um, so going through kind of those transitions and as the company changed and as you changed positions,
Right.
what are some experiences that really shaped you into like the director and leader that you are today?
Yeah, there's a couple things. I would say one I learned very early when I first entered the company. I was a repair service clerk. A repair service clerk at the time was mainly voice. There was internet wasn't what is today, and it was all about voice back then. And a repair service clerk was where the customers called for outages and service. And not many customers called to say thank you for my dial tone. They were out of service, they were unhappy. So I learned the value of customer service and how to treat customers. Because like I tell all my teams, if we don't have customers, then there's no reason for us to be around. So that has taken me, that stick with me forever on dealing with customers. And also, when I first got into the entry level of leadership, I saw what it was to get employees respect and trust, and how that is not easily obtained and can be easily lost. So I always ingrained myself as part of the team, not me running the team. But when I refer to things we do, it's we and our, right? It's what the team does. And there's two magical things in our business, and I'm sure in all across businesses and corporations, that if you care for your employees, they're going to take care of caring for your customers. All that comes together hand in hand. That's the things that have stuck with me. It's customer service, right? It's being transparent to your customers, communication with your employees, transparency to your employees, mutual respect for them, right? They are people, they do have families, and we all have family crisis to deal with, and giving them that time and allowing them to be there for their families as their families grow has gone a huge way for me as a leader in getting successful results as a leader, because they come from your team.
Those are some really great lessons. I definitely customer service is hard. Like I can't imagine picking up the phone and somebody's angry on the other end. And like
Yeah, not many thank yous on coming in on those calls, right? So it really teaches you those lessons of that not only go with customers, but go with your peers too, that, you have to first be sympathetic, be in their shoes. Um, Listen, the calls can get hard, right? You can be berated no matter how polite and how sympathetic you're being. After those calls, you walk away. After those tickets you work on, or you get up, you get out, and then you come back. And listen, that goes to say now, today, not just with phone calls, but with emails to anybody, emails to your peers, emails to your customers, emails to your friends, on those we're not agreeing on the same thing type emails, right? Always walk away, then come back and hit your reply. It's funny, I coached a lot of youth sports too. I had a 24-hour rule with parents. If there's a concern you have, or you're unhappy after a game, let's talk in 24 hours, because it's time to really think about what happened, right? It's time to reflect before just jumping in. And that's where it just escalates to somewhere where it shouldn't be.
that's super smart. I totally remember um in high school, like there was always those parents that after the game like had something to say to the coach, and
Yeah.
it's like let's all just, there's a lot of adrenaline, the game just ended, wait 24 hours. I think that
Yeah.
solve a lot of problems on its own.
Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
um
Yep.
so I'm curious to know how you were able to push through the couple of recessions that we had in your time at Verizon. Because right now, we're in a pandemic, and we were in kind of a bit of a recession. And so
Yeah.
I think it would be good for other students and people to hear kind of how you were able to
Yep.
mentally handle that.
Yeah. I would say recessions overall in Verizon and telecommunications, the ones up till now have been storms that we were able to ride. You know, internet service and TV and cell phones, they have grown into essential products, right? So we don't really feel it that people are coming away from paying for internet or getting that cell phone or smart device. So we've kind of weathered that. But two things that do stick out in that area is when I first started, the Bell companies were more of a monopoly. It was like the power company. It was voice, right? And you went to one place to get your voice, the phone company. That was it. A few years after I had started, they started to start the regulations, and other phone companies, that started the birth of Sprint and all the other ones that followed. That was a big change in our company, and getting back to the customer focus. That's when that customer focus became critical, because our customers had other places to go. And the way we prepared for that is by lots of training, messaging, and coaching. It was messaging that came down from our leaders at the top of the corporation, and carrying that same message all the way down, of how critical and important it is to have our customers. And a lot of training was based around that. Now, so that was probably one of the biggest switches I've seen in the career. And now we talk about 2020 and what we're dealing with the pandemic. That that was a lot of shifting. we had workers that, we were always be in the office mentality of a business, and everybody is now home. Our call center frontline people doing it from home. Our network operations centers running tickets and running outages from home. Our technicians that go from home to home, garaging from home, right? They go into the homes to repair troubles, but differently, right? Safety protocols. They have programs where they try and, go on Zoom or whatever to walk a customer through the trouble from outside the house. So we shifted a lot very quickly, like in March, where we put plans in place. The Verizon wireless stores with safety protocols to keep us going. And, we didn't have to lay off thousands of people because of this. We did a great job of mobilizing our employees into the right place, getting the right protocols, and our CEO and our head of HR, from when we left the office in mid-March till now, has a call every day at noon to talk about how we're responding, how our employees are doing, and to have that communication and to have that concern coming from our CEO and our senior vice president of HR. Our employees, when we do our employee surveys on satisfaction, they are just blown away on how they've been treated and cared for during this time. And again, in turn, that had everybody run to the crisis. So everybody was doing what they can to support the business. And, we're surviving. We're doing well. Internet subscriptions obviously went way up with people working from home and children distance learning. The internet demand was huge. There's some revenues in certain areas that were impacted. The stores, we had to scale down the amount of stores we can open at the very beginning. So people weren't going out to go buy cell phones and tablets, etc. So that took a hit, but it balanced it out in the hunger for internet and upgraded speeds that our customers upgraded to that weren't even. So it was new customers and customers upgrading to higher speeds for their internet was which helped us. But again, it was the respect, the care from the leadership, and the mobilization that together that inspired all our employees to what we say in our credo: run to a crisis.
That's truly amazing. Like the culture at Verizon, the fact that the CEO and the VP of HR every day, like
Every day at
that
noon.
is the
Yep.
coolest thing. Like
Yep.
that
Yep.
is just like a great way to like build a team and to like fully support one another. Thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Of course. Yep.
Awesome. And so reflecting now on all of your experiences from high school and the different changes, what is a piece of advice that you would want to give to students today?
Yeah. With
Yeah.
students today, I would say, when it comes to your degrees, your bachelor's degree, stick with it. Stick with it. Get it done. And I say that because I was getting my bachelor's degree as I was growing a family. I have 4 children. Like I mentioned earlier, I was coaching children. So I was working full time. I was coaching and trying to get the bachelor's degree at the same time. So kids go to bed 9 o'clock at that age. That's when I started my schoolwork and homework, and then had to think about the day ahead for work. So it's very hard. You miss a lot of the college fun experiences, right? So I felt had to do it again. And my kids, people I mentor, say, get that part done. The master's degree, on the other hand, I kind of feel on the fence about it. Yes, it's great to get done, but it's also good at that point now to get your foot in your career, in the corporation you want to be in, the market you want to be in, because just like Verizon, you can now get the financial help with getting the master's degree. And what I felt going through the master's degree, a lot of that now is not every subject under the sun. It's more focused. Like mine was mainly focused on leadership and cultural leadership, where my assignments and homework was, I just did that last week. I just, put this deck together or that deck together, or have this type of business case. That I do that every day, right? So I felt like it made the experience, it made it easier to go through. I mean, because I saw it, there were folks that were in their class that literally went to high school to the bachelor's, and now we're in their master's program, and you could see the difference of just a slide deck alone of somebody. We had a balance of a mixture of that. I would say there were actually more folks in the class that are already in their careers than that weren't at the master's level. So that it's tricky, right? It's, do I want to get it all done at once, or do I want to get my foot in the door and now have the experience to be more successful and also have that financial backing? Yeah, that's a couple of things that I think about having to do it again.
That's awesome. I totally agree with you. When I first started college, I was like, I'm gonna get undergrad, master's, boom, 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 done. And then as I went
Yeah,
through my career, I was like, I don't think that's a good idea. Like there's other options, and there's more value to being able to like do your master's as you're working so you can
I
apply
feel
it
that way.
versus like theory. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely sit in that camp of thought. Yeah,
Thank you so much for, sharing your story with us today and
absolutely.
providing such great advice. I'm super excited to share this out.
Great. Excellent. It was my pleasure.